Sup, Yiffers? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Maddie, and this is Zack. We're doing another
Hello,
episode. We're
like we
back.
always do.
Guess who's Zack? Zack again.
I am back from Portland, and
Oh, that was unintentional. That was a good segue.
I went to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and I
Oh
can
yeah.
talk about some of the things that happened there, the video games that I got and stuff.
Oh boy.
The main thing is I paid more money than I probably should have on Chrono Trigger,
Oh
but you know what?
yeah.
I don't care because I own it now, and
That's good.
that's all that matters. And I started it too. It's fucking like even just early on, this shit's fucking this game goes hard, and I fucking love it.
Nice.
It's I feel like this might end up being in like also I feel like I already know what my top 5 games are gonna be after I beat it.
Did you watch Chugga's Let's Play, or did you just avoid
No,
spoilers?
I only watched like a little bit of the first episode. I
Mm,
watched the I skipped through the finale just so I could hear the hint for
yeah.
what his next
Just at the
Let's Play
very
would be, and
end.
then I watched the bonus episode because it only spoils the post game content in the DS version,
Yeah.
which I don't give a shit about because that's not the version I'm playing.
Yeah. There you go. I've been told it
So
just like ruins the entire game. Also.
yeah, it does.
It's like, all right, that's cool. Well, I guess I won't have to mind
Yeah.
because if I
So
ever play it, it'll
what
probably be
else
the
I got
original.
was I bought the Brawler 64 controller so I can use a regular feeling controller on my
Is that
N64.
is that like the popular regular N64 controller, or am I thinking of a
Yeah.
different one?
It's the one that I showed you before.
It
That
just
came out a little while ago.
just looks
And
like
it
a
has like
normal gamepad.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I know what you're
except it's
talking
for the
about.
N64.
Yeah,
And I got one. I love it. I tested out Mario 64. Oh god,
dude,
it feels
I want to
amazing.
play Smash with that because I've
I
never played
don't own
Smash
Smash
64,
64.
but that seems like the definitive
Yeah.
way to play Smash 64 is with
I
that
feel like that's
controller.
what it was mostly meant for, and just that the fact that it's just the best
Yeah,
controller
it's
for
called
it
the
is just a
Brawler,
side effect.
which just made me think it
Um,
was a fighting game controller.
well, I mean, it came from a company called Retro Fighters, so
Makes sense.
um, and I actually also to complement it, I bought two 3D platformers for the N64.
What were
I
they?
bought Chameleon Twist because I heard it was pretty good, and then last day. When I was just wandering around, I had $40 left, and I saw a rocket robot on wheels, and I I knew that I was probably not gonna find it. I might not find it again, and without having to like go on eBay. And
Yeah,
that
that's
game is considered like top shelf, one of the best platformers on the
I
system.
I've never heard of
So
that.
I heard it's really good. I haven't tried it yet. I tested it to see if it worked after I got home, and from when I tested it, the controls felt really good. Like it felt really solid. And um, then I bought Mother 2 and Yoshi's Island, the Super Famicom versions,
Nice.
because fuck paying their regular prices.
Mother 2.
Ah, shit, you're right. And then I got Rockman 4.
Ooh, oh yeah,
And
nice. So you
um,
have 4 and 5 now, right?
yep,
Dude,
4 and
just
5.
get them all for me so I can play them on your Famicom.
I'm planning on getting all of them.
I'll let's play all of them on your Famicom on your channel.
No, please, I want to. The only game I'm good at is 2, but then again, that's the game everybody is good at.
I don't know. If I had to choose between 4 or 5 first, I would say let's do like 4. There's also a glitch that I never got to show off on stream because I was really stupid, and it involved the Toadman item, and I accidentally used it all up in the boss rush, and that's where you're supposed to do the glitch. So I was like, oh, I used it all against the boss whose weakness it is instead of saving one to show off the glitch. And it was against the
Yeah.
boss who's like really easily beaten with the Buster too. So I was like, oh man.
Oh damn, rip.
Yeah. But
And
we should definitely do that.
yeah.
That'd be
And
fun.
then I got Dragon Warrior, which is the localized version of Dragon Quest One, and that copy of the game has a funny story to
damn.
it, but I'll get to that later. And then I also bought Pokemon Ranger 1 and Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity.
Oh, hell yeah.
And the one non-video game item I bought was an Angry Video Game Nerd poster, and
That counts.
I bought it while James was at the booth, and I actually got it signed, and it was the
Nice.
last poster that they had there too.
Nice. The final
So
video game nerd.
yeah, I feel really cool meeting James Rolfe. He's literally the fucking granddaddy of comedy game reviewing. Like,
Noob Dude Reviews. We wouldn't have
and
Noob Dude if it wasn't for AVGN.
this is true.
Because then that spawned all the shitty parodies.
Yeah.
And then Matt's is like an ironic parody. I feel like all the other ones are just completely unironic. Like, I can do that too.
Yeah.
I can also get angry at game and make joke.
Speaking of meeting James Rolfe, I'm gonna transition into meeting the YouTubers that I saw there.
Oh boy!
And so I'm gonna tell a few stories. I'm gonna save the best one for last.
Oh yeah, so I already know.
Yeah, I posted it in her server right when it happened because I knew it would get a good reaction out of people.
Oh my god!
And so let me just tell the first one. So I am sort of friends with this Twitch streamer. Her name is Blueberry. She's really entertaining, and I like her streams.
Oh, neat.
And she is the girlfriend of a YouTuber who I also watch named Gilly the Kid. He's super funny and cool.
You just know all these networks of YouTubers that I've just never heard of.
And I also, and one of Bloob's friends is a streamer named Miss Fushi, and she is dating game reviewer and Kirby enthusiast Ant Dude. And
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Good one. And
they
were all going as like a group, and I did run into them, and they were all super nice. They even let me like hang out with them for the afternoon, and that was very kind of them. And
unlike Matt and Ryan, when we were in LA and we were stranded for a day.
Yeah. And so let me just go to a little side tangent here.
Mm-hmm.
I have this crippling phobia that I annoy people.
Oh, I feel that totally. Constantly.
So when I was hanging out with them, like always in the back of my head, I'm just like, am I really supposed to? Do they really want me here?
You're like, is this okay?
And like I talked to them. They were all really cool and really nice, and it honestly really made me. It was a really good experience. They were all super cool about it.
That's good.
And
yeah, I always get that. I always get like. I always feel that, and then I act like worse as a result. So I'm just like, well, if they didn't hate me before, they definitely hate me now.
I'm good at hiding it.
Yeah.
And also because the internet, the cell reception in the convention center was garbage, and I was a dummy who paid for the Wi-Fi. I was whenever people were like looking at something, I always had price charting up, and they were like, oh hey, can you look this up for me? I was like, oh sure.
Oh, because you're like the only one with Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's funny. The designated Google boy.
Yeah. And so, the next thing that happened was I was just walking around. I was near the Shark Robot booth. I turn around and I see a guy. I was like, wait a second, is that Loxton? Because he was like one of the special guests. And I turn around and I see Arlo in his blue fucking monster self.
So you got to see Arlo real, huh?
Yeah, I got to see.
Are you allowed to describe him, or was there some non-disclosure agreement?
I'd prefer to just be respectful of his privacy.
I feel you. It's still cool that he's willing to like show up at cons and stuff, and people still respect that.
I mean, he holds his own convention in California every year.
You're like, so. Yeah, he's blue. He's got fluffy fur. He's got strands of hair. So like what? You know what he looks like. Yeah, he's in every video.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I met a blue monster at the convention center. You know, he was surprisingly hard to find.
Really?
For a big blue fucking monster, man.
I mean, he's probably not holding it in the air all the time. He's probably just kind of like holding it naturally, and you don't really see it.
And he was super cool. I talked to him for a little bit about like the panel because he had a panel, a very interesting panel where him and Loxton did a little debate on GameCube versus PlayStation 2 over which one is better.
You told me about that, I think.
Yeah, and that was a pretty fun little one. And so after I talked to them for a little bit, they had to leave, and then I talked to them again after their panel, and I told him, hey man, your unwavering enthusiasm for Pikmin made me buy the first game on Wii, and I played through it. That game kicked my ass. And he's like, yeah, like Pikmin 1 going through it the first time is tough.
Did he sign it for you?
No, I didn't have I didn't bring my copy with me.
I want to get Scott the Woz to sign like every single one of my Mario Kart games. I think I have all of them except for DS and Super Circuit and SNES.
Yeah.
There was like a gap because like I got Double Dash obviously, and
no, just have him sign your copy of Mario Kart Wii.
he's like the one he hates the most. I don't know
And,
why. Like I grew up with Mario Kart Wii, so I have like a soft spot for it. But like going back to that game, it is just unfair the amount of bullshit that gets you.
The thing is though, I don't have any childhood nostalgia with it because I never owned it despite owning a Wii. And also, whenever I did play it, I was forced to use the motion controls and I hated it.
I used the motion controls like when I first started playing and I got super used to them and that was like my primary way of playing. And then like I went over to a friend's house. I like brought it to his house because I was like the one who like got the games and we just like hung out and played them. And I had to use the Wiimote nunchuck because there was only 2 wheels. And then, like, after that, I just, like, couldn't go back to the wheel. I was like, oh, man, this is a 2. Even, like, middle school me knew that there was something up with the wheel. After I went to nunchuck, I just couldn't go back.
Whenever I get a copy of it, I'm probably going to play with the classic controller or my GameCube
that's
controller.
That's a good bet.
Yeah. Anyways, next ESA Lab. So... I ran in. So there's a YouTube channel called Stop Skeletons from Fighting. Formerly used to be home of the Happy Video Game Nerd.
Oh, which was you told me about him. I didn't know that's what he was now.
Yeah, he's super cool. His channel is great. I fucking love his channel. And actually one of the games that he reviewed back in the Happy Video Game Nerd days, I actually bought and I forgot to mention I got it. Zombies Ate My Neighbors for the Super Nintendo. Yeah. That game, I've heard, he said was really good, so I got it, and then I had him and the co-producer, Grace, sign the game. They were super cool. Got to talk to them for a little bit. I got a photo, and they were super nice. And yeah.
Nice.
And the big one, the one that I'm gonna only talk very briefly about. So, Space Hamster. A little bit of like a week, like I tuned into a stream and I said like, hey man, are you going to Portland? I know you and Austin went last year. I said, yeah, me and a friend are probably gonna go for just Saturday, just so we can.
I forgot to plug in my earbuds. I was like I'm getting a lot of feedback and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to plug in my earbuds.
Didn't hear anything.
Sorry about that, folks. It should be good now.
It's all good. So
because I noticed it picking up on the mic and I was like, that's not good.
So and he said, me and a friend are gonna go just for one day, just to chill.
And friend.
I'll look for you. And so I was walking around. I was near a booth. I was near a vendor. I look over and I see Space Hamster. I was like, oh hey, it's him. And then after he walks, and as he was walking, I noticed there was a person behind him, and the person was fucking Pro Jared. Legit, I can give you the exact fucking thought process that went in my brain the second I saw it.
What did you?
I was like, oh hey, it's oh. So I had this big fucking stupid grin on my face, and it was for the
wrong reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. So I walk over to him like, hey guys,
oh my God.
How are you doing? Just talked to him for a little bit. I showed him my copy of Chrono Trigger. I was like, I'm really excited I got this. And then then I got photos of both of them.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later on, I bought my copy of Dragon Warrior. I bought it for $9, and I saw him again. I was like, "Hey man, I know you're an RPG guy. Could you sign my copy of Dragon Warrior that I just bought?" And he's like, "Oh sure."
Yeah.
So him and Space Hamster signed it, and he even told me a fun fact. The reason why the first Dragon Warrior game is so cheap compared to the other 3 on the NES is because the first game was given away with Nintendo Power, like the Nintendo Power subscription, because Nintendo of America was so desperate to try and get Americans into RPGs.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
it's just pretty much like Mario Duck Hunt and how common it is.
Yeah.
Like every NES owner probably had it.
Yeah. And that was a fucking magical experience having that happen, because I was not expecting it to happen, and it was so fucking funny seeing all my friends' reactions when I posted the photo I had with
in like other servers too.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
And I'm not gonna post it anywhere else. I
don't want like on Twitter or something.
I don't want this shit to come back to me. I don't want to get in trouble.
They're like, you took a picture with him, so obviously you think it's okay. All the things he did. Like, no, it's not really how it works, but okay.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I
don't want to talk about the full situation or my thoughts.
Yeah, me neither. This isn't the drama podcast.
Yeah,
that and it's kind of long. It's kind of long gone at this point.
If you wanted to see my thoughts, you could scroll up in Maddie's server like 2 weeks ago or whatever, and you can find what I wrote.
Quick Discord plug.
Yeah. It was, but yeah, that was just a fucking bizarre experience, and it made my fucking Saturday.
That's
just
nutty.
having that happen.
What if he like turned around and the Pro Jared intro started playing as he like slowly rotated his head? What if that was like a creepypasta, like his head rotates slowly and like the theme is played like...
his head turned around like an owl, he bled it.
The theme is in like A minor.
Yeah.
Oh, oops. That joke is in bad taste, actually. That was completely unintentional. I meant to say G major, but my brain was like... Oh my god.
We're good.
That's like SpongeBob. Yeah, E minor, alright.
Alright, we're good. I need to tell one more story about Portland, then we're hopping off this train. So,
don't need no credit card to ride this train.
When I was hanging out with Gil, Blue, Fushi, and Ant Dude, I got photos with them, and I was talking to Gil. I told him, hey man, a lot of people in this convention center have your haircut. And his haircut is like, hair is like dyed, he has like, a lot of his hair is black. He has one like part of it dyed white and like it was like combed over or something. That's like the best way I can describe it. And he's like, yeah, I think Hitler started.
Oh god.
Yeah, it was a pretty good joke. Literally all of us started dying. It was really good. It was a really funny moment. If any of you guys are listening to this, I love you.
Portland Retro Gaming Expo funny moments. Share the podcast with them. We got a network somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Have you shown anyone the podcast?
Yeah, I'm telling people about it. Calm down.
Have you shown anyone, like your coworkers? Be like, hey, check this.
No,
check
I don't
this out.
talk to my.
Yeah, obviously.
My job isn't. Yeah, I'm not supposed to talk to my coworkers.
I know. I was joking.
And also one final thing. I got to ask James Rolfe a question at his panel because what they did was it was mostly a discussion about like future plans and stuff, and he said we're gonna have the people who are who work here. We're going to have them. You will ask them the question first. If they like it, they'll give you this little thing. You move up, and then you'll get to they'll get to ask the question, and then at the end. So I asked him a question, and the question was, what was a game that you played on AVGN that you were expecting to be bad, but you got pleasantly surprised at it being pretty good? And the main one that he said, because the way I would phrase it was, with stuff like the Chex Quest episode, has there been more games that are like that? And the one he mentioned was Mick Kids.
Oh yeah,
and he said I pulled that off. I pulled that off my shelf randomly, thinking, "Oh, it's a fucking McDonald's game. This is a good. This isn't gonna be anything."
Yeah.
And then I also mentioned, and there was also that PAL only Noah's Ark game that like Konami made.
Super Noah's Ark. That one?
No. That's for the Super Nintendo. I'm talking about the NES.
Okay.
And it was a 2D platformer designed by Konami. It was only released in PAL regions, and it's probably the actual best like viable game released for the NES because it's actually a competently made video game. And then he was like, "Yeah, that's also a really good example. Thank you." And yeah, James was super nice. All right, let's
get James on the podcast. Let's get AVGN.
James, I know you're listening to this episode.
Dude, you were in that podcast with Defunctland.
I was.
He's got to return the favor now. Say, hey, I was on your podcast or whatever with you. Why don't you come on our podcast? We like you a lot.
He was a guest on another.
Okay, but that's still a connection. Be like, hey, if you enjoyed our little like chat, I have a podcast, and we've been talking about getting you on, and we love your stuff, and we'd love to have you on.
Yeah.
Dude, one of these days we're actually going to get like some crazy guests, and we're just not going to believe it.
We're going to get Toby Fox on the podcast, we're not going to believe it.
Yeah, we just get a soundboard of the dog sound and just play it whenever we ask a question.
So let's move on to the Pokemon news.
Pokemon Minute.
Pokemon Minute. So journalists have now gotten to play the first 90 minutes of Sword and Shield.
90 minutes is kind of a lot too. That's
Yeah,
like at least the
like,
first couple gyms, I think, if you're fast.
well, most of them they would just want to like fully take everything in.
Yeah,
And
like see as much as possible.
they came back with like some pretty fucking high praise for the first 90 minutes, and like they said they saw like 10 Pokemon they couldn't talk about. They said like you can skip
Failed
the catching
step one.
tutorial. There's just less tutorials overall.
That's good.
They even said stuff like they actually got to experience the wild area a little bit.
Oh, nice.
And they said like the farther you go and like the wild area, the Pokemon Sword and Shield feels a lot more like a typical JRPG, where sometimes you can wander off into these high level areas and get your ass beat.
Like Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Hope they give you the smoke bomb early on.
Yeah.
So you can run away.
Or the Pokédoll or something.
Yeah.
But like honestly, I think these games are gonna end up being really good.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be a really good, bold move forward for the series.
I hope they make up for a lot of things that people have been complaining about.
Yeah, and honestly, like I am also really glad they aren't showing much, considering someone showed showed a graph of all the Pokemon that were showed off for Sun and Moon and all the Alolan forms.
Yeah.
You know what? The only Alolan form line wasn't shown off during the hype period for Sun and Moon.
Grimer?
No. Grimer was one of the first. It was the Alolan Geodude line that was never shown off during the pre-release material.
Yeah, I remember seeing Alolan Geodude and being like, wait, what the fuck?
And that
was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I feel like they could have showed off that one and hid like Alolan Raichu, because then that would have been like, holy shit!
Or they could, someone definitely would have just used like a Pikachu on their team and then been like, whoa, or like
you get Pichu early, and also there's that fight. There's a fight with Hao,
yeah,
where he has the Alolan Raichu
on his team.
Where, like,
was that when you fight with him or against him?
Against him. It was immediately after the first time he go into Aether Paradise, and he at least I'm guessing like I'm not sure if it's like if this happened to anyone else, but he fucking smoked me, dude.
I think I was prepared for it.
I didn't have a dark type. He fucking smoked me because that Raichu literally had Psychic, and that literally just fucking blew my whole fucking team back.
I kind of wish they did the whole like secretive plot thing with like Sun and Moon, especially since that one was like set up to have like a really dramatic like plot. Well, you know, like you play the game and you're like, oh, this is a lot more like deep than what most other Pokemon games have. I wish they had like started with that, so we could have like not known much about like the characters of the story and like had not seen a lot of the Pokemon.
Yeah.
So like it would have felt a lot more refreshing, even though you can't skip the story cutscenes or whatever. I do hope they take that from Let's Go as well, that you can just skip any cutscene, because in Let's Go it was only like 6 cutscenes in the entire game, and only like 2 of them occur during the main game, because like the other 4 are just like the legendary cutscenes, which is like kind of dumb.
Yeah, for me, like I honestly feel like these games are gonna be pretty fucking solid, and like and also it just feels bizarre knowing that we are like that there's stuff that we still don't know about. They're so secretive, and that makes me super excited this time around.
Yeah.
And also, this is literally the first time we haven't seen the early game rodent or bird, and I know I've said this before, and also early game bug, and like that's just crazy.
Yeah, they usually show off like all the basic Pokemon. Like I remember they showed off like Cutie Fly, and then like Rockruff, and then Pick-a-Peck or whatever. Like they were showing off all the Pokemon. And Young Goose too, and they were like here's all the new substitutes for Pokemon that you've already know, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I understand some people's, like, worries that, like, they're not gonna add that many more new Pokemon or Galar forms or whatever. But I am really hoping that, because there is, like, a pattern. It's been consistent. It's not like they're showing no Pokemon and they're telling us, like, everything about the game, or, like, vice versa, or, like, something like that.
And also, there's no way they would bring back Galar, like they would not bring back regional forms and only make 3 of them.
Yeah, that would be kind of dumb.
That'd just be a waste of time. They might as well just put the original versions of them.
Yeah, basically. It feels like they may as well have just been in the game to begin with or
Yeah.
something.
And I'm just I don't know how to say words, but I cannot wait for these games.
It's like
They're so close.
3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, one more
And
week of
I'm
October and then
mhm.
2 more weeks into November, and that's it.
I'm really sad. It comes out on a Friday, and that's a work day.
Oh, hell
So
yeah.
I the thing is though, I go to work on Fridays and Saturdays at like 1 p.m. So I will have time to play it, but still, I'm still gonna be like when I'm fucking doing my job. The only thing I'll be thinking about is God, I just
I could be playing
fucking
Pokemon
play
right now.
Pokemon.
If you wake
Yeah.
up at like 8 a.m. or whenever GameStop opens, you could probably get it and play it like all morning.
Yeah, I'll definitely let me my local GameStops they
9
open at
a.m. I
like 9
think.
or 10.
Yeah. So if you wake up at 8, you could definitely be there right when they open and just
Well,
grab your
yeah,
copy.
I wake up at 4 all the time though,
Jesus
so like
Christ.
I'll be good.
It's 4 right now.
Not what I meant.
Dude, you just woke up. No wonder. Dude, you were sleep talking that whole time during the beginning of the podcast?
Yeah, I
The
was.
hell?
Sorry to disappoint. I was
You were
not
having
conscious.
like
I don't even remember what I said.
you were having dreams about Portland. You didn't go the whole time. It was just a big
God, the thing
dream.
is though, I made jokes. I made a joke about that because of the fucking hell that was going through the airport and me losing my wallet and having to get
Oh,
my card
yeah,
remade.
that does suck.
I was genuinely
That's the
considering
worst.
canceling. I was considering canceling, and I even said it felt like when I got home, I told my mom it felt like a dream. It felt like this wasn't really happening, and I was at home. I was gonna wake up,
And
tears on my
just
face
have all this
because I
stuff around
canceled.
you. That's like something that happens in one of those like fucked up anime movies. It's like she's
Yeah,
having
like
a happy life and then it's like, oh, she's dreaming, never mind.
yeah, fuck you and your feelings, bitch. You're gonna fucking cry just like she is.
Oh my god. I'm glad that the journalist just like confirmed that there's going to be like a lot more Pokemon
Yeah.
too that they can't
Yeah.
talk about.
Also, I just looked it up. My GameStop opens at 10 a.m. I can't wait that
Oh
long.
god. Just
I'm
like
about to break in. I'm about to go on the midnight launch.
pull the heist. Yeah, I wish they would do a midnight launch. They haven't done a midnight launch since like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I went to
about
that.
to. If they have a midnight launch at this GameStop, I will drink Monster Energy to keep myself fucking awake.
Yeah, and then go to bed at like 1 a.m. and then wake
No,
up
I
at
won't.
like,
No, fuck sleep. I'm playing Pokemon.
dude, what the hell? I remember they did a midnight release for Majora's Mask 3D too that I wanted to go to, and my mom said she would take me, and then she just never did. I was like, what happened to that? She's like, oh, I didn't want to go. And I was like, well, then why'd you say you would take me if you changed your
Yeah.
mind? I was like, we would just be going there for like 10 minutes anyway. It's like, what adult doesn't stay up that late almost nowadays?
Yeah.
It's like most people who don't really like work stay up that late anyway. And I don't think my mom was working at the time, but if she was, I don't think she was starting that early. Like my dad starts really early, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's whatever. That day that Omega Ruby came out and I got it at midnight, that was like the best day of my life. Because I played it for like a couple hours before I had to go to bed before school. And then like this was in high school. This was like junior year. And then like all day during class, I was just playing Pokemon. Like my first period was being a student aide. So I just played Pokemon and then like ran passes or whatever when I had to. And then second was like math. And I had, I don't know if you ever would have had him. I'm not going to say his name though. But he was chill.
You can type his name if you want.
Yeah, I'll do that. I had if I Discord, come on. I had him for Calc
Oh no, I
1.
didn't have him.
Did you hear about him?
No, what happened?
My current roommate tells me stories about how he had him like senior year and how like he would be 5 seconds late to class like first period because he drove himself, and he has like this like annoying like quiet voice, and he'd be like, I'm sorry, but you have to go to the tardy office and get a pass. So, like, he would just go to the office and take, like, 20 minutes to get a pass. Because, like, I never got the point of that. It's just like, oh, you're a little late, so I'm going to make you leave and be, like, 10 minutes more late than you already were. And miss,
Yeah.
like,
I feel
1/4 of class.
I feel like for like tardy passes, they should just give the tardy passes to the teachers and have them write it up, and then like
Yeah, like
in
they
in
should just
passing
put it in the
period,
books or something.
yeah,
It'd be
have
a
it
lot
put in the book,
easier.
and then or like have it or they write up the student for being tardy, and then during passing period have them like
Take it to the
give it.
office,
Yeah,
yeah. Even then, you still only have like 10 minutes in between classes. I digress.
yeah.
Anyway, I was like done with all my homework, so I was just playing Pokemon. And then like all my other classes, I played Pokemon. Lunch, I played Pokemon. My history class was normally with one of my more strict teachers, which I wouldn't have gotten away with it, except for that we had a sub. So I was just playing Pokemon during the sub, while the sub was just showing a video or something. I was like, this is the best day of my life. Just playing Pokemon all day during school. That's why I love Omega Ruby. It just gives me memories of like not giving a fuck. Just being like, just remembering being happy and stuff like that. It's been like, my favorite childhood Pokemon game. It's like I'm reliving it, which is kind of why I like remakes in a sense, even if they're not
Yeah.
100% true. Like you still get that feeling of like I'm reliving my childhood or some past point. Not even necessarily your childhood. Like I fucking like get weirdly nostalgic for like 3 years ago sometimes, like freshman year of college. Just back to
For
like
me,
playing
I
Paper
just
Mario.
yeah, I think nostalgia is just having positive memories about the past.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, totally.
and for me, like I'm having this weird kick of nostalgia for Dan Schneider shows,
Oh
and
god,
like I know we fucking the foot jokes and all
I know.
that
I
and all
feel
that
you.
stuff. But God, his shows made me laugh, and every fucking sitcom he made has a dope ass theme song.
Usually, I don't know about Game Shakers or if he
Yeah,
even worked
Game
on that
Changer.
one.
No, that was his show because they had Nathan Kress, the kid who played Freddy, show up,
Oh,
and they literally asked him about which character it was that Freddy was in love with in iCarly.
what? Like
So
like they ran into him like as Nathan Kress, like as the
yes,
actor.
mhm,
So
yeah.
iCarly is like a canon show within that
No, the
show.
thing is though, if you fucking dude, Dan Schneider literally has made a cinematic universe, and it's the most confusing shit because
Yeah, because I
Drake
remember
and
that one
Josh and I.
time Drake showed up in iCarly,
No,
and he's like
that was
Megan.
the thing is though, that was part of the bloopers. That
Oh, was
wasn't
it?
like
There was
an
still
actual. Yeah,
there
it
was
was
still
part of
that
the blooper
episode where she
reel.
was watching Drake and Josh on TV.
Yes. And
But that
you
still
know what's
counts. I would say that still counts
you know
because
what's
they
the
did
really
shoot that
fucking weird
scene.
thing about that though? Here's
What?
the really bizarre thing about that because Drake and Josh and iCarly don't have a real link, but iCarly and Victorious do because of the
Yeah, I
crossover
remember
episode and
that.
also with Sam and Cat.
I
But the
remember
thing
that.
is, in an episode of Victorious, Helen from the Premiere Theater actually shows up and is now the school's new
Oh,
principal.
I remember
So
that.
now
Yeah, I remember
Josh
that.
actually have a connection to Victorious, and that means
Canonically.
it's also linked to iCarly, so it's fucking confusing.
She was also like knockoff Oprah in Game Shakers. I
Yeah.
don't know if she was also Helen, like canonically in that show. It would
Oh
make sense.
fuck! I just remembered.
That'd
They
be
even
hilarious.
referenced an episode of Drake and Josh in Victorious as well. So it's also the events of
What
Drake and Josh
episode?
both happened. It was the episode with the sushi line with the
Oh
sushi conveyor
yeah,
belt.
that was funny.
So now Drake and Josh is both a real is now the events of Drake and Josh have both happened in our TV show
Yeah,
in the
that
Dan
wait, that makes no
Schneiderverse.
sense. It was a
I know.
show, but it actually had like what is it? Is Drake and Josh a documentary? Just like that makes it sound more likely because those like vignettes they have in the beginning, those are like straight up
Yeah.
interviews. Like they're straight up just like
Yeah.
talking to them and like getting their perspective. So like Drake
So
and
that
Josh
means
as a documentary makes actually a lot more sense.
So that means Drake and Josh are like Modern Family or The Office.
Basically,
where
yeah.
where it's an actual camera dude,
Yeah.
and they just don't acknowledge him in any way except for the vignettes in the
Yeah.
beginning. And it also
Jesus.
it even gets crazier because in fucking Game Shakers they had Nathan Kress show up, so that means iCarly is a TV show
So
in the
he-
Game Shakers universe.
He played himself in Game Shakers?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And they
It's
asked
really
him
weird.
who he dated or something?
Yeah, which because the thing is though, there have been stints where Freddie and Carly have dated him, where Freddie and Sam
Oh,
have
in the
dated
show,
in
yeah.
iCarly.
I know that, yeah, I
So
know that.
they asked him like, which one did he really love? And then they fucking
Like, in
pulled a cop
character?
out where they. Yeah.
Okay.
and he purposefully what they purposefully did was they had loud construction noises play over what Nathan Kress was saying.
He was gay
just
the
to
whole
fuck with
time.
people.
He was in love with Gibby, the forbidden fruit.
The forbidden fruit.
Nickelodeon
Also-
wouldn't allow it to air, so they had to cut it.
Hashtag release Gibby.
Free-
Hashtag release the Gibby pilot.
Free Gibby. Yeah, they should. Why don't they make a show on him? I feel like
they did. There was a pilot, and Dan Schneider even tweeted about editing the pilot, but it never got released. And then after people started making a fuss about it, those tweets about him editing the pilot got deleted off Twitter.
Oh, that sucks.
Release the Gibby pilot, you fucking cowards!
Jesus Christ. I want to buy everything Dan Schneider owns just so I can take credit for all his shows. Just be like, don't worry, guys. I made the shows now. I made the shows. You're welcome.
I don't like feet. It was funny.
Yeah, I'm not a foot fetishist. I have my certified no brain rot card. I do not have a foot fetish.
Every now and again, some people just ironically retweet Dan Schneider feet tweets on my Twitter timeline, and it just kills me every time.
That's the worst.
Because God, there was so many fucking things about feet.
Yeah, I know, like way too many. Wasn't there one where he like offered to massage someone's feet or something like publicly?
Yes. He also asked for photos of people's feet with like iCarly written on them.
Like Sam and Cat.
Yeah.
I actually, you know, because they took the comic relief characters from like iCarly and Victorious, and they were like, this will make a great show, and then it didn't.
Yeah. And they didn't give them. They completely forgot the whole point of the comic relief character. They're supposed to be a foil.
Yeah, they're supposed to be a distraction from the main show, but then when they are just the main show, it gets a little, like, exhausting.
And that's the thing with Planet Sheen as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Sheen and Carl, their whole point is they're meant to be more normal
they're meant to be, like,
kids
stupid,
compared to Jimmy.
Well, Sheen isn't... Carl isn't really stupid, but yeah, Sheen is definitely an idiot.
Yeah. They're meant to be like they're
like contrast. Yeah, they're like, what does this do? You know?
It's like it pulls atoms apart. Isn't that a nuclear bomb? No.
No, shut up, dude. Did you see that one video talking about how like horrifying Jimmy Neutron is?
No.
How he's just like this genius kid who could easily like kill anyone he wanted, and like they're all just kind of like playing along with Jimmy's like shenanigans because they don't want to get killed, and
is this Matt Pat?
No, they made a comparison to that Twilight Zone episode where like that 5-year-old kid has the power to just like kill anyone he wants or just like make anything he wants. He's like God, so they're all like trying to treat him like really nicely and be like, no, it's totally cool that you killed everything else on Earth, you know, like do whatever you want. But I'm just like, I watched that with my roommate and I was like, is it really worth living at that point? Like, what the fuck? I was like, how do you raise someone like that? That's like Willy Wonka if the kids were just going to kill their parents.
Yeah.
Because the Willy Wonka parents are just like bad parents, but it's like not beyond saving, you know? Like, you just like... I was watching the old Willy Wonka with my roommate this morning because it was on TV, and I was just like, they're like so proud of how bratty their kids are. I'm just like, probably because they just want to be on TV. You know, they're just like happy they're on TV. They're like, yeah, he's never eaten dinner with us before. Like, that's not a good thing, but okay.
You know what's really funny? I fucking watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory on my plane to Portland.
Nice.
And honestly, that movie is so fucking genius. I love it.
It's really funny. That one scene where the guy makes like the computer to like calculate where the tickets are, and he's like, I can't tell you, that'd be cheating.
That would be cheating.
and then he's like, do it anyway. And he's like, I'll share the prize with you. And it's like, what would a computer?
What would I do?
What would I do with a life? I will now tell the
computer what it can exactly do with the chocolate.
Exactly what it can do with a lifetime of chocolate. As he like angrily presses the buttons. That gag was so funny. It adds nothing to the movie. It's not relevant to anything else going on.
No,
but it's just so funny.
It's just a really good gag.
It's good. I wish it had like more of those kinda, because like it only really focuses on like the like they do a good job of making it seem like a worldwide phenomena, you know, and like everybody's freaking out. But I wish we could have seen like more impact based on like what happens around, you know, people looking for the candy bars or whatever. Because I'm sure there were some other billionaires who like had the idea of buying as many as possible and then hiring people to open them all. So I want to hear a story of like someone who spent like his entire life savings trying to get like all of them, and then he just doesn't get it, and then he loses all his money. That'd be pretty dark, but I feel like it'd be interesting.
For me, okay. I was thinking about it after watching it, and I know the remake gets a lot of shit, and I think it gets a lot of well-deserved shit for stuff like Johnny Depp. And for me, like the thing is though, it has a lot of good ideas, and I think it does a lot to contextualize the story more. Because in the remake specifically, it says that Willy Wonka is looking for children and not just looking for a person to take control of the to get the lifetime supply.
Didn't he say he wanted a child because they're like not corruptible? Really? Didn't he say that in the original?
Yeah, he said that a kid could understand how Wonka ran the factory and could run it how he did before. And
because in the remake he like runs away as a kid and he starts the factory, or he starts like the business as a kid. So like that makes sense. Out of
spite. And and also I like that they actually show more so the worldwide pandemic this hunt for the Wonka bars is, because
I remember that.
They make it they have these little bits from like Tokyo where you see all these people fucking storming a store, grabbing all the Wonka bars they can. Like it's a lot. They make it seem a lot more of like this big event than the original, and that's really saying something, because I think the original also did a good job showing that. And, I also like that I like the idea that the original, even though I don't like Johnny Depp's performance that much, I still kind of like that they kind of are parallels to each other of the Gene Wilder Wonka being a more good-hearted kid, and the Johnny Depp Wonka is almost as bad as the kids who get fucked up in his factory. He's very bratty. He does not really care much for others. And he's a very antisocial person, and I think that makes sense because he had nothing.
Yeah, I think it totally makes sense.
It makes more sense for the character.
I love the gag where he runs away as a kid, and he's like, "If you run away, I won't be here when you come back." And he comes back, and the house is just gone, like the entire apartment. Just like someone cut it out and it flew away.
And also, the thing I also like about the remake is, at first, because Wonka didn't have a family, he didn't like see the point in like of Charlie bringing his family over to the factory.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too.
Charlie denied. He said, "I'm not taking the factory if you don't allow my family." And
I like that.
It just cuts to Charlie's shining fucking shoes.
Yeah.
And like, and
I like that bait and switch kinda.
Yeah.
I like that someone like stood up to him, you know?
Yeah.
They were like, "I know you got money and candy and whatever, but he's like, it doesn't matter to me if I can't have my family." Yeah. And that really goes to show like how important it was to him, and it probably, you know, hit home with Wonka in the movie where he's like, "Oh, maybe it is important."
And that's that's just a really disappointing thing, because that's the only real character you get out of that version of Charlie.
I can see that, yeah.
Because that version of Charlie is just too clean. He has nothing to him. He's too like he's polished to a mere shine, and that's not
he didn't
how
really
it
look
should be.
He didn't really look poor in the remake, I don't think. Like their house was all fucked up, and I actually liked that about them. Like there was a literal hole in like the second floor where he slept, and I was like, I like that, but like they could have done a little better job making him look like a little more poor or like homeless or whatever. Like make him look like he lives in a trash dump. Don't just make him live in a trash dump. Like whenever
also, funny thing about the original movie, the Grandpa Joe, the one, not Grandpa George, the one who goes with him,
and Grandpa Me.
The other grandpa, he actually was like a German refugee who didn't speak English. And so when they had him in the movie, he had to like they didn't want his like shoes messing up like the bed in the scenes, so they took it off of him and like moved them away. And because he didn't understand English, he genuinely thought they were just fucking stealing his shoes, because he was a poor German man who was like
how probably did they even like get him on the movie?
His main big money thing for that month.
Like, how do you get someone like that on a movie though? Because like actors, they have to audition, they have to get the script, they have to read the script. They have to show up to shootings. They have to get makeup. They have to get outfits. Like, how did he not know what was going on?
The thing is, though, he didn't have any lines. He didn't have any dialogue in the movie at all.
Like, he still has to know what's going on, though.
I don't know the full story, but they genuinely thought they were just fucking
because without like lines, you still have like stage direction and like he can't just be sitting around looking like aimlessly, you know, like he has to know like where to look or like how to act or like when to,
I'm
you know,
guessing there
fucking
was a
breathe or whatever.
translator.
Probably.
I'm guessing there, but yeah, I thought that was a very interesting story. But yeah, I think I I also like that they spend more time in the original movie, kind of outside of the factory, building it up, and
Yeah, I like that too. Because
it's
like then
like
you finally see the inside and it's like,
yeah.
oh man.
And also the thing is, the one another thing I'm not the biggest fan of with the remake is you see Wonka like first thing before you even see Charlie,
That is
and
true,
I
yeah.
don't. I think the original did it better where they just hyped him up and you don't know who he is or what he looks like until you finally get to the factory and the gates open and you see him
I still think they
walking
did
out with
a
that cane.
I think they did a good job in like making him seem like mysterious in that regard cuz he's just like this guy who wears like a black coat and like the hat and has the cane and like
Yeah.
you don't really know how weird he is until the kids meet him. You know, obviously, you know, if you haven't
Yeah.
seen the original, but like obviously if you know Willy Wonka, you know he's crazy.
Hmm.
But I like how they made him crazy in like a different way. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He was just like an eccentric, like weird guy. He didn't look crazy, but he acted crazy, so that I think that made it funnier for me because like he would deliver some lines like so, like such funny lines, like so deadpan, and it just made it really
Yeah.
funny for me. Or he'd just be like,
And you know
"Yeah,
what's
duh," or some
the
whatever.
the one thing I find really funny about the original and the remake is that the girl who plays the two girls, the guy who played Veruca Salt, they almost look identical. I don't know how, but they both look very similar.
Yeah, that is weird.
I
It's
think
like they
that
got someone
yeah,
who is like her descendant or something.
yeah, I think that's just absolutely bizarre. Like, and I also like that out of all the people, they really didn't change Veruca much
Yeah.
because there's really nothing. There wasn't much to change because
I
she's a
like how
fuck.
her dad was or she was the gum chewer, right?
Yeah, no, that's Violet
Violet.
Beauregard.
Right. What was her? Wasn't one of them like a soccer mom instead of the car
Yeah,
dealer?
that was the remakes.
Yeah,
Violet's
I
mom.
remember. I remember.
And the
And John
dad
TV
the
was or Mike TV
Mike
was addicted to
TV.
games instead of TV, which makes
Yeah.
more sense. Because like,
Mhm.
who's addicted to TV? I guess that's just how they viewed it back then. So
Well, the
they
thing
made it
is, though,
more.
that movie was made in the 70s.
Yeah.
The only real video games that were around were Atari and
Well,
early
yeah.
arcade games.
Yeah, like I don't think video game addiction had even been like conceptualized back then. But like,
Yeah.
I don't think video game addiction is like a thing with video games. It's just a people thing. But uh,
I just, oh god. If the thing is though, if Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was rated like T or not T, fucking PG-13 or like, I get the
keep doing
fucking
that.
movie and
You're
I
saying
keep
maybe
getting
you
them
have
confused.
maybe you have gaming addiction, Mister.
If
Maybe
they
you're
if
addicted
they
to
like
video games.
if they made it a little bit more adult oriented, I could see Mike TV fucking slashing people in Doom or like he would definitely
Oh, just like the game.
he'd play the super fucking violent shit.
I think it makes
And
more sense though, because like
yeah.
I guess it makes sense that they changed it because like
Mhm.
it had to do with like the media at the time.
Yeah.
Like if it came out nowadays, Mike TV would probably just be on his phone or something. You know what I mean? Like if they made
Yeah.
another Charlie and the Chocolate Factory reboot, it'd probably just be
He'd play Fortnite on his phone.
yeah,
and
on like
call people the
iPad.
N-word or something.
No, 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 not please no. I would love a fucking like adult parody of Willy Wonka though. That'd be hilarious. If it was
Willy
actually
Wonka's
well
Sex
written,
Factory.
not just Willy Wonka's cum factory or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean like I mean like same like plot and stuff, but like with just adult humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like the movie is definitely good, like a general audience film. Although like when I watched it with my dad, he was just like, oh, "It's such a kids movie." I'm like, "Dad, you think anything that's not like sports is like a kids movie or whatever, or like anything that's not like framed like super serious? You know, like
Yeah.
you don't have to be like serious to be adult. You know what I mean? Like part of being
Yeah.
adult is having a sense of humor,
Yeah.
and like that I think both movies do well on in their own regards. I haven't watched both of them either all the way through in a long time, so I can't really say, but I remember liking a lot of parts about the remake too. I also like that the songs were like different genres. It made
Yeah,
it like less
we
of a
talked
slog.
about that.
Yeah. It made it less of like it's another one of the same songs, you know. I love
No,
the
the thing is,
Futurama
though,
parody.
For me, I kind of like that. I kind of like it being a similar song, just changing it for each kid.
Yeah, I get
and
that.
like what their problem is. And I think my favorite one is when they were talking when they're the one that they sung about Veruca, because they say some true facts. When a kid's being a shitty kid, the line "blaming a child is truly a shame." You know exactly who's to blame, the mother and the father. That's fucking facts.
That was like social commentary. That's exactly what I was saying. Like these kids are not beyond saving. Their parents are just shitty parents. Because she's like, you never do anything I want. I'm like, he's literally having his entire factory open candy bars like nonstop, stopping all of his business to make his money just so you can get your chocolate bar. But you want to know another funny piece of movie trivia? Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen the Back to the Future movies?
No,
or 3?
I want to.
Do you know Back to the Future 3? Like the setup?
Isn't it like the West?
Yeah,
West
it's the Old West. Yeah, and there's a scene where Marty gets hanged, and that scene where that happens was like actually real. Like Michael J. Fox was actually like choking during that, and he like actually almost died because of that scene. And he came down, he was like coughing. I was like, Jesus Christ, he straight up almost died. And
you know what?
A friend of mine. What was that?
Sorry, I was gonna say something, but you keep going.
Okay, a friend of mine who's like super into the movies was like, he was also working on a sitcom at the time too. I forget what it's called, but he was basically like nonstop filming for Back to the Future and for his show, like all the time. So like in interviews, like nowadays, he largely just doesn't remember the actual like shooting of the movies or like the show, which is kind of sad. I don't like when people like overwork themselves and then like stuff isn't. I'm not saying the movies or the show isn't good. I haven't seen the show, but I think it's called Family Ties or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'll look it up real quick. But
so let me tell the story. So when PewDiePie was making the Scare PewDiePie show, they had like legit. What happened was in an episode they had Aaron and They Wants the Battle show up as the guests for the episode. And it was meant to be like a Five Nights at Freddy's style game, but in real life. And what happened was they purposefully made it so the power went out, and then Nate disappeared. So what they did was they had Felix get out and like have to walk around the fucking spooky arcade, and he had to like play a game. But the thing is though, due to like a problem, they had to stop the game. And I think it was on purpose, because as Felix was walking by, They had this jump scare where Aaron was supposed to like be like on a noose, and it was a fake noose, and it was supposed to not have any pressure on him. But then out of nowhere, by accident, the fucking thing like went off, and he actually started choking while he was on the rope. And there was this whole panic on set with cameras rolling.
Jesus Christ.
Aaron Hansen was actually fucking possibly going to die of hanging.
Also, yeah, it was Family Ties, and yeah, it was Michael J. Fox. It's just a shame when like you know Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, Frankie Muniz.
He had like chronic memory loss. Accident. Oh yeah, that triggered it, right? Like that caused him to lose all of his memory.
It was a horrible car wreck because he was a NASCAR driver.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, that sucks, man.
That's what happened.
That's such a good show too. Like I feel like that show would have been so fun to be on and to make.
Yeah, and that just sucks because that's his claim to fame. Imagine not remembering your own claim to fame.
Yeah, and like Cody Banks.
Yeah.
At least he gets to like watch them blind. Be like, wow, I did that as a kid.
Wow.
I gotta rewatch that show. Malcolm in the Middle is really good. It's like one of my favorite shows.
I watched a few episodes of it, but I liked what I watched.
Dude, it's really good. I think it was on Netflix. I'm not even sure ananymore. I'm gonna check Hulu on my Switch real quick. I haven't used Hulu on my Switch in so long.
I'll check Netflix.
Okay, this is a co-op effort here.
This is a co-op. We have to find out where Malcolm in the Middle is being hosted on streaming platforms.
I'm able to start software. Bitch, corrupted data on Hulu. How does that even happen?
What the fuck?
It's not even a video game. It's like, sorry, we lost all your progress on your shows. It's like, no, I gotta start over. Futurama, any percent speedrun. Just not even the game, just the show.
Yeah.
That was unintentional, too.
In the Middle is not on Netflix.
I feel like when I first watched it, when I was in like high school, it was on Netflix. Man, Netflix sucks. They just take all the good shit off.
The Office is getting off of it.
Yeah, and like in like next year, right?
I think so.
I
I need to
gotta,
watch it because I liked it.
yeah, I gotta rewatch it before it gets taken off.
Hmm.
Okay. While Hulu re-downloads, what else is there to talk about?
JonTron got married.
Oh yeah, I fucking like, I forgot he was even in a relationship. I knew he was like
Well, he's doing a
subconsciously,
good
but
job at keeping it a secret.
yeah, as YouTubers probably should. Because when YouTubers have girlfriends, it only leads to like more. Wasn't that the whole thing with like Ninja, or how
Yeah,
like
the
he
reason
didn't want
for
to?
the he didn't really want to collab with female streamers
Yeah,
because he was married and he didn't want
yeah.
rumors ruining his marriage.
Which makes sense. Like that's a valid reason, but like
Yeah.
as long as you
And
like come to a
he
public
has
agreement.
kind of he has gone on to work with
Yeah, that's
female
good.
streamers
That's
and
definitely
stuff,
good.
and I think
But
that's good. But I think he's very much trying his best to not do much to cause him grief.
that's good. He
Because
seems to be
I remember
handling
when
his
that
own pretty
statement
well.
first came out, people were fucking clowning on him,
When what
and
did?
when he first said that about him
Oh yeah.
not really collabing with female streamers much
I
to
mean, it's
keep his
like
marriage
I
safe.
can't really blame. Like, it's not because he thinks he's gonna cheat on his wife. It's because
No.
he thinks people are gonna think that he's cheating on his wife.
Yeah, and people are going to assume the worst and also start
Exactly.
rumors and just
Yeah.
like cause shit that's going to hurt him.
Yeah,
And
like that makes sense. Just
Yeah.
it's having to address an issue that shouldn't need addressing. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like you gotta nip it in the bud just so you don't have to deal with it in the first place. Not that he like shouldn't collab with female streamers, but like I
Yeah.
definitely see why he was cautious
Yeah.
about it to begin with. But it's good that he's handling it well now.
yeah,
It's so weird how these YouTubers and streamers or whatever can just show up out of nowhere and just become like I am the most popular now.
yeah.
It's
Well,
like
the thing is, Ninja
what?
was on his grind for a while, and the main thing that shot him into mainstream relevancy was playing Fortnite with
Fortnite.
Drake and Travis Scott.
Yeah, that is true. Oh man, I can't wait for Hat in Time on Switch.
I know that the physical release got delayed a bit.
Yeah, I saw that on Amazon. I was like, what's taking so long? I was like, what happened? They didn't really
Yeah.
do anything about that.
Speaking of a physical, I'm sorry.
I only bought it physically because I didn't want to pay like $20 extra for the DLC.
Yeah.
I was
might
like,
buy the physical version too.
I was like, I know I'm gonna like this game, and as much as I normally like downloading my indie games on Switch, I was like, I feel like this one will be good just because it's paid DLC.
Speaking of physical games, Limited Run Games was at Portland, and
Oh, nice.
man, and there was also a fucking booth essentially right behind them selling former Limited Run Games print releases, and like, I'm realizing more and more that fucking with companies like Limited Run around, I'm not against them existing at all. I like what they do, but God, game collecting for these for systems like the PS4 and Switch are going to be a fucking financial nightmare in the future. Because that's the thing is, with consoles, you're always going to have a rare game. You're gonna have your fucking Little Samsons, your Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut, your fucking Axiom Verge Wii U, which is actually the only Wii U game Limited Run made. So like, it's always
Not
gonna have
even
a rare
Hollow Knight.
game. And like, the thing is, this is going to be a good portion of the game's library is only going to have like a couple thousand, and you're going to have to pay most likely triple digits, or even with some games quadruple digits for these games.
Yeah.
It's really good that they only made one PS3 game and one Wii U game.
Yeah, or else there would be. Wasn't
Yeah.
Scott talking about? Didn't he have a copy of Axiom Verge on the Wii U?
Yes, for the Wii U.
That's hilarious.
And
you have to get him to sign
the-
yours when you get it.
Yeah, once I get it. The PS3 game that they made was Oddworld New and Tasty. That was their only PS3 limited run roll. And but yeah, it's going to be hell in the future.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty bad. But I just looked at Amazon and it said like delivery date pending, and I was like, it was supposed to be here by now.
What the fuck?
I'm sad. I don't know. Did they say what happened or like why?
Let's check their Twitter.
Because I don't know why they would have delayed it. Because like the game is just out, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how hard it is to just put the game in a cartridge in a box and send it, but
They probably said something.
I hope so. unless they're just like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait. I finally made it into Hulu. It loaded.
Yay.
Here we go. Oh, it is on Hulu. Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, we gotta watch.
Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. But that's with
best movie
a...
ever.
Watch with live TV. Like, what does that even mean? It's like, oh, if you don't already have cable. It's like, well, what's the fucking point of that?
Yeah.
Dude, there are so many episodes of Malcolm in the Middle. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Each episode has... Or each season has 22 episodes, except for season 1 that has 16, and season 2 that is 25. All the other ones have 22 each. That is crazy. That's like... How many episodes is that's like almost 300. No, I think I'm overshooting that by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's at least almost 200. Somewhere between. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still pretty impressive. One of the episodes is called Home Alone 4. They should get Macaulay Culkin on Malcolm in the Middle. Or they should have, actually. That would have been great.
Yeah.
If he was like some neighbor kid or something.
Yeah.
What if they did a Malcolm in the Middle reunion special?
Mm-hmm.
They just get what's his name? Hal? I forget his real name. I always forget his real name. The Breaking Bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
That was like his like more serious role. Because I feel like before Breaking Bad, everyone just kind of saw him as like the goofy dad guy. Mm-hmm. And then, like, doing Breaking Bad was like, oh, he can do, like, serious roles. Oh, and he was in that movie, The Upside, where he played the quadriplegic. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
No.
Oh, it was really good. It was with Kevin Hart. And, like, he was, like, a lower-class, like, New Yorker guy. And he got hired to take care of this, like, rich, like, entrepreneur guy who was, like, who became a quadriplegic. Yeah. It was really good. It was pretty funny, too. But it was really good. I like their dynamic.
Wow, Kevin Hart in a good movie?
Yeah, it was pretty surprising, honestly. The whole time I was like, oh, it's just going to be, like, funny Kevin Hart. But I was like, oh, yeah. He actually did the role very well. And, like, you know, he was funny where it was appropriate. And it actually fit really well. And I like their dynamic. And I like the whole, like, you know, uptight guys kind of, like, coming out of their shell. Or just, like, uptight characters in general. Kind of, like, getting to be friends with them and just coming out of their shell. I don't know. It was very wholesome. Yeah. He teaches him how to love again. He really does, though. It's a good movie.
I remember, speaking of a movie that I didn't watch but only saw the trailer for, I remember this fucking Tyler Perry movie I saw the trailer for. I forget what the name for it was, but, like, it was the most...
Medea?
It wasn't a Medea movie, or at least I don't think it was, but, like...
I'm gonna look it up.
It literally was... It was, I don't remember the name, but it was the most confused movie I've ever fucking seen just from the trailers alone, because they had like 3 different things going on. They didn't...
Isn't that like every Tyler Perry movie?
I don't know.
I
haven't seen one, but I feel like this one specifically, it did not know what fucking story it wanted to tell, because there was, oh, my sister's getting out of prison. Yeah. Oh, she's going to have a wacky time getting readjusted to society.
Oh, I feel like I know what you're talking about. I feel like I know what you're talking about.
My boyfriend cheated on me.
Was it this year that this movie came out?
I don't know. I forget when.
Because I feel like that's just like every Medea movie. Because I feel like I remember even Super Mega was like, there were like 3 plots in like the Medea Halloween movie or whatever, or the Medea family funeral. I think they were like, they had way too much going on and they just like couldn't focus on like what they actually wanted to do. And that they couldn't even tell.
It wasn't family funeral. It was something else. Like it was a comedy. Oh wait, it was Nobody's Fool. That's what it was.
What year is that from?
It was last year.
What the fuck? All these movies are all out of order.
Yeah.
On Google.
Here's the full three plot lines that happens in this movie. Uh-oh, my wacky sister is getting released out of 5 years in prison. Uh-oh, she's helping me becoming more fucking more confident. Uh-oh, my boyfriend cheated on me. What plot are you trying to tell here? What story are you trying to tell, Mr. Perry?
Jesus. I feel like I saw a trailer for that once and I just like couldn't think of like I feel like I saw that trailer once and I was like, oh, neat, and then I just never saw it again. Mm-hmm. There was also that movie What Men Want, where it was like that that woman who woke up and she could read men's minds, but like only men. I thought that was like an interesting premise. I love like mind reading shit and like telepathy.
Yeah.
And I like seeing how like interesting it can get, like how different characters act when they know or don't know they're being listened to, or like when they know they can read minds.
Yeah.
It's always interesting. Wasn't there a Jimmy Neutron episode like that? Was Sheen able to read minds when he got like super smart in that one episode?
I think so, yeah.
I don't remember. I gotta double check Hulu if they have all the Jimmy Neutron episodes so we could just watch them.
I feel like some of them were missing.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why they would just randomly get rid of some words.
God, I did
Some
not realize
episodes.
how many fucking Medea movies there were.
Yeah, there's way too many. That's why it's one of those things where I'm just like, wow, they're still making those, huh?
When did these fucking movies start?
I have no idea. Probably like 2007, I want to say.
No, there's a movie in 2003 though.
What the fuck? I don't remember them going that early. I feel like I started actually seeing them like in middle school because I was like I can remember celebrities now.
Apparently the first time she appeared was I Can Do Bad All by Myself in 1999. And there was like wait, what the fuck, did Google lie to me then? Because there's one of them that says Medea's Class Reunion 2003, but Wikipedia said that like, okay, no, it was 2003 in theaters, but 2005 on DVD. It said like the first Medea movie was in 2005. It was Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Diary of a Mad Wimpy Kid.
But that doesn't make sense. Why would that be the first movie if Class Reunion came out first?
What if there was a movie just called Diary of a Wimpy Black Kid?
Oh my god.
You know, someone asked Jeff Kinney if Greg was a sociopath and he denied it.
Because of the theory that was written by Bedhead Bernie. And
didn't he ask him that directly?
It was Monkey Jones who asked him on an AMA.
Oh, I see. And, I thought it was the guy who made that video who asked him, because I think he made that other video.
Monkey is just like the big proprietor of the theory.
I see.
And also the thing is though, the way Jeff Kinney responded to it was pretty suspicious, because he said like, I based Greg off of my experience as a kid.
Oh god.
I
mean, like, what kid isn't a sociopath? Like
No, the thing is though, I couldn't really relate to Greg at all.
Yeah, me neither. He was just like,
because I thought he was like funny.
Yeah, he's just like straight up an asshole sometimes. Like sometimes he's relatable.
Piece of shit.
Sometimes he's relatable, like, oh, I hate gym, like I'm wimpy and I can't climb the rope, and then it's just like, oh, I'm like miserable.
Times it's just like,
and he's like, oh,
I'm gonna manipulate the weird kid to fucking like
get his advantage, get the advantage, or to like go to the park with him or whatever.
Yeah, and make Rowley jealous.
Yeah, but then there's just like, oh, making comics with my friend, like that's relatable. Yeah. Like I did that as a kid. I made shitty little comics with like dumb jokes. My comics were just like references to cartoons with like stick figures.
But yeah, honestly though, I think with the way Jeff Kinney said that, I think that means there's something suspicious going on in that man's mind too.
Yeah, that's like how in Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David says that like George is like based off of him, and he does all those weird things in the show, and he's like, George is me, and I'm like, well, he's not supposed to be relatable. He's supposed to be funny. Which is one of those things where it's like, I don't think he actually feels that way, because like the stuff that happens in Curb Your Enthusiasm is obviously very not real, but they do such a good job of just like making it feel real. Like the things are shot in like real places and like real houses.
Yeah.
And like when they're driving, they're not driving, but they're being pulled like very low to the ground by another vehicle. Like there are some scenes where like you can see like in the reflection of like his glasses, you can see the thing in front of him or something like that. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you really don't want to be proud of that if the character is like a goofball or just an idiot. It's like, I could see some of the stuff that he's talking about, like, oh, I just want to play video games. I don't want to deal with school. Like, you know, oh, there's this girl I like. There was also some analysis I saw in the book. I don't remember if it was in, like, the director book or whatever, if it was, like, I don't know, but it was something about how, like, all the girls are drawn, like, very similarly, whereas, like, all the guys are drawn, like, very differently. Like all the guys have like weird designs and like noses and mouths, whereas like all the girls kind of like look the same but with like different hair.
Yeah.
Different face, slightly different clothes. Like that's about it. They all look the same.
Unless they're an adult, because
Yeah,
the
like his mom.
teachers all got drawn weirdly.
His mom looks like a Peanuts character.
Yeah.
You know, like in Peanuts. Well, they don't really have adults. They just go wah 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 wah.
Wah, wah.
But she looks like straight out of like a newspaper cartoon from like the olden days.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that one meme where it's just like it was like the dad driving them in the car, and he's like, it was like Greg in the back of the car, and he was like, Dad, you have to forget us. The crash was 5 years ago. And he was like, haha, good one, Manny. It was like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
Wait, have you seen that? Did we watch no, that was my roommate. Have you seen that Diary of a Wimpy Kid fan fiction video?
Yeah, by Salty DK Dan. I know that. I remember that.
I'm not gay,
I'm not
Greg.
gay, Greg.
I actually did like that spin they put on it, where it was like, oh, he actually just liked him the whole time, and he didn't know how to deal with it. And he had to put up with like the rejection too. And I was like, man, that cuts deep. Like unironically, that fan fiction was like way more thought out than a lot of parts of the book, I would say. Yeah,
because the thing is, when these people actually do try, they make Greg feel like a regular fucking person and not fucking not the shittiest kid you'd ever meet.
Yeah, like he's just a guy. Like when he's grown up, at least, like he's learned from his mistakes or whatever.
Yeah. And like honestly, I feel like if I was in the Wimpy verse, I would have fucking ditched Greg a long ass time ago.
Would have fucking decked him, just straight up.
Yeah,
I feel like
would have.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason he doesn't face any repercussions, well, like for the most part, is because he's like the protagonist.
Yeah,
he does.
He's main character, man.
Yeah, he does in that like, oh, I can't do the thing with the girl I like, or like I didn't get to go to the park with my friend.
Rowley's embarrassing magic show because I was shitty to him.
Yeah, because I am not a good friend and I don't like supporting my friend or whatever.
No, it's like legit. I feel like if Greg were a real kid, he went to an actual real public school, that he would have had the shit kicked out of him.
He would just be like spoiled. He would be totally like, oh, I don't have to do any of this, or he'd think he's like too good for everything.
Yeah.
I love those like character hate blogs when they're for like stupid characters. I feel like Greg Heffley is deserving of one.
Let's make one.
Like his brother is like an asshole to him, but it's like, yeah, he's the older brother. Like that's just, he would do that anyway.
Roderick is a lot more sympathetic because they paint him as a real older brother, where sometimes he's an asshole and sometimes he actually is like helpful.
Yeah.
Like they make him actually like they make him a real dude.
Kind of like the whole dynamic in like Malcolm in the Middle, how it's like they're all older brothers and Malcolm is like the middle child, but he's older than his younger brother, but he's younger than his older brother, so he has like a weird dynamic where he's like mediating most of the time. And like there's even like Francis, who like kind of takes advantage of them sometimes, but like he's still like, oh, let's do this like fun thing and be rebels and like have fun, you know, like fight against our mom, but also I'm in charge and stuff like that. It's really good. There's so much shit I gotta watch and so little time.
Sam.
Oh my God. I have so much shit to do. I was gonna write about like, Greg Heffley seems like one of those kids who was just like really influenced by like media. Or like he saw like all those school movies and was like, I'm just like the protagonist guy. I'm also misunderstood. And he thinks he's like deluded about himself.
He literally thinks his life is the fucking Truman Show.
What? I haven't seen. Isn't that the one where the guy thinks he's in a sitcom or a show or something, but it's real?
No, in Truman Show, his life is fake. He lives in a giant set.
Right.
His whole life is a giant TV show.
But he doesn't know that.
Yeah, he doesn't know it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I feel like I said something slightly wrong.
You said he thinks he lives in a TV.
Right. So he doesn't know, but he is. It's like the simulation or whatever from Rick and Morty. But that is really fun. That's a movie, right?
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
I gotta watch
Jim
that.
Carrey. It's fucking excellent.
Is he the main character?
Watch it. Yes.
Oh wow, that sounds good.
it's brilliant. I think it's really good, and genuinely, like, Greg Heffley in the first book, he legit thinks that there are cameras watching him the whole time, like his life is the Truman Show.
Dude, there have been some times where I just felt like looking into the camera like I'm on The Office or something.
Yeah,
I love how
really
iconic
do
that became.
Yeah.
Just like the stare.
Because also, why the fuck would you want that? Why would you want everything in your life to be a lie?
Yeah, that would kind of suck.
Because like the whole point of the Truman Show is that his life is he has no real person.
Yeah. His sense of identity is like kind of taken away.
Yeah.
Like the thing he was identifying with just isn't even real.
And like I'll show you it like whenever you get back from college, because it's genuinely it's brilliant. I think it's one of you can check right now.
Yeah, I am.
I think it's probably some of Carrey's best acting.
Dude, I love Jim Carrey in The Mask. I had never seen the original The Mask until like a couple months ago, and it was so good.
Seen it, actually.
I watched Son of the Mask as a kid because I was, a dumb kid, and I was like, funny dog and baby. I feel like they did kind of a good job, like, picking up the story, like, where it left off, but I feel like they brought too much, like, lore into it. Like, it's like, it's a funny mask, and you put it on, and you turn into a funny green man. Like, that's it.
And didn't they try and throw in fucking Norse gods?
Yeah, it was like Loki. Well, because in the first movie, he goes to see, like, the doctor or whatever from the beginning, and he was like, it's probably tied to, like, Loki, the god of chaos, because it turns you into this just, like, completely chaotic dude who could just do anything because it's funny. And I'm like, that's just, like, Looney Tunes logic. And then he has a baby while wearing the mask, so that the baby is just, like, born with mask powers, so then Loki is like, oh, that's my child, like, it has my DNA, it has my power, and that's the whole, like... It would have been much funnier if it was, like, a legal episode. You know, if it was like a fucking court case or something, that would have been funny. I feel like that might have been a gag or something, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I think they just tried way too hard. And like his dad was like a cartoonist, and he makes a cartoon about the dog and the baby. It's like, okay, it's like they're both pretty much the same character.
You think that's where Kid versus Cat came from?
Who?
Do you not know? This is okay. So Kid versus Cat was this it was this Disney XD only show, so it fucking got shafted by Disney. And basically it's about this. The main conflict is that it's kind of anti Lilo and Stitch, where this kid, his sister, adopts a cat who's actually this evil alien trying to fucking destroy the world, and he's trying to stop it all the time.
The cat is, or the kid is?
Yeah, the cat is the
alien.
The cat, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like Invader Zim, except they live together.
Yeah.
I love that. Dude, Invader Zim is so good. Did I get to talk about that on the podcast?
I'm not sure.
I finished it a while ago, and I love it. It's really good.
I need to watch the whole show. I watched a good portion of it, and I watched Enter the Florpus.
Yeah, I watched Florpus, and it made me want to rewatch Invader Zim, and now I feel like rewatching the movie again. It was really good. Yeah. Like, the movie just felt like a long episode, you know? It just felt so true to the original. I was like, wow, like, it really just feels like it picked up right where it left off. And they even make a joke how it was like, he's been gone for like 10 years or whatever. Or he's just been gone for an undisclosed long amount of time.
Yeah.
And the jokes were, like, really on point, too. I love how, like, just, like, bleak the original show is. Like, the colors and, like, the art style. It just feels, like, gross. And, like, with Zim being, like, an alien, like, it makes sense that everything seems all, like, foreign and gross. I talked about that a little bit myself, but I really enjoyed that. But it's still enjoyable. I feel like I remember not liking it as much as a kid, but, like, now I can really, like, appreciate it more.
Yeah.
Because I'm just, like... I still can't believe it got canceled because a serial killer copied an episode.
What?
You didn't hear about that?
I did not know about
this. There was a guy who was, like, ripping out people's organs, and in the court hearing, he said he got the idea from Invader Zim.
Are you fucking serious?
It's so wild.
That's nuts.
I know. One guy just had to ruin it for everyone else.
Fuck you, dude. I remember that episode. It was a good episode.
It was just funny because Zim just has no idea how humans work. So he's like,
Yeah.
oh, they have organs, so the more organs I have, the more human they'll think
The
I
more
am.
human I am.
And then Dib gets his like lungs replaced with a cow sound, and they're like, he's an alien! And they take him to like Area 51 or whatever. Dude, what if Zim was in Area 51?
Oh,
Fucking
fuck.
X-Files theme.
God damn it, we should have actually ran in.
We could have gotten his, what does he even invent?
The pack.
Oh yeah, that's true. That would suck though, because those things are like their life source.
Yeah,
And
it's essentially their entire organs in like a backpack.
Wasn't there a comic about like Zim losing the pack and like dying?
It was a scrapped episode.
Oh
where,
yeah.
Where he was about the thing is though, there was rumors about him dying and then Dib putting it on and him becoming the new invader, but the thing is though, that's like I think that got debunked, and I think the trending was Gaz put it on him at like last second.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of like the Ham episode, except like they just die at the end. There's a callback to that episode in one of the later episodes, because Dib is like we gotta work together, like and Zim is like never, and he's like, what about that time we got turned into hams? And he's like, you're lying.
You're lying.
I love Zim so much.
I know. Did you know that the guy who voices him, he legit every time he did his voice, he fucking threw out his voice because of how fucking much yelling he has to do.
Jesus, they fucked with him. They straight up fucked with Richard Horvitz. Like whenever they would take a break during the show, they would make him do like vocal warm-ups in the booth and just not record it. Or they'd be like, do this take like over and over again, and they just wouldn't record it or something. It's just like how fuck. They straight up fucked with each other. Like there was this post about how like they would leave like notes on like the concept art, and they were like, one of them like they straight up wrote like make it look less shitty or something, and then or they were like make it look more shitty or something like that, like sarcastically.
If it's all in due fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But that just sounds so chaotic and fun. Like I'd love to just watch.
Did you know Richard Horvitz voices the main character from Psychonauts and also Billy from Billy and Mandy?
Yes, and he also voices Chaos in Skylanders.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
too. And he's got a good voice. He's one of those voices where it's like he does the one voice, but he does it really well.
Yeah.
Fucking. All I can think of is Brock Sampson, Joe from Family Guy.
Patrick
Warburton, yeah, he and Krunk, he does that voice so well.
Just his voice.
Yeah, but it's really good. But it's really good, and I really like that because it's like recognizable, but it doesn't like take you out of it. You know, you're not just like, oh man, it's the fucking one guy. Like now I'll only that's me with like Justin Roiland actually, because like
really
aside from like Rick and Morty, Justin Roiland does that one like, oh I'm the guy, oh geez, you know, and like I heard it in Florpus. Like when the guy was like, I was like, oh, that's Justin Roiland. And the guy even kind of looked like him, I think. I don't remember.
Justin Roiland he was a character in Gravity Falls too.
He was also the robot in Florpus, the like toast bot or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget his name, the breakfast bot or whatever. But yeah.
God.
I like Justin Roiland, don't get me wrong though.
When you mentioned Florpus, the one thing I fucking thought of was like, remember, this ham is going to become useful later on.
Yeah, that just seems like a joke they would make. Like it's like
that's a good fucking joke.
It's that sort of like random humor, but it's not like over the line, you know. But it's like
it's not fucking roar means I love you and dinosaur.
Yeah, but also like Gurr wasn't meant to be like the main focus in the first place. Like his jokes were like he's a stupid malfunctioning robot. Like yeah, he's just gonna say like some dumb shit, but like sometimes it works to the point where it's like Zim. Like do you remember the one where he had like the giant explosion in his hands and he was trying to like transport it?
Yeah.
To like get rid of it, and like Gurr kept like fucking with him.
I think so, yeah.
There's also an episode where Gurr gets like downloaded into the house, and he takes like full control of the house, like Wheatley in Portal 2.
Yeah.
He just takes over the entire lab, and I thought that was so funny. That's just like every episode is such like a treat. There was even the one with do you remember the one where he was selling candy bars?
I think so.
There was a scene where like he puts on these like nightmare vision goggles and he was like bask upon the world in which you do not buy my candy bars, and there was like a scene they had to cut like last minute because like 9/11 just happened and there was like a burning building in the background or something and like a girl crying on the floor. Yeah, but like when I watched that episode on Hulu, that was the one they had, the unedited one. So I was
are
like,
you serious?
I was like, that's really funny, because like the new one was like barely changed. It was just them like freaking out, like they saw like this like post-apocalyptic like war thing, but they cut out like the tower thing, or they cut out like the burning building thing. And it was just like,
Yeah.
I was just like, man, the shit they had to do back then, it's just nutty. But there was a character in that episode called Poop Dog, and I thought that was really funny. Because he's like trying to introduce himself to Zim, and he's like, I am, and then Zim's like, who are you? And he keeps interrupting him. So he also voices Richard Horvitz. He also voices Waffle in Cat Scratch.
Oh wow, that's cool.
That's another show I haven't like seen in a long time, but I had a video now with like 2 episodes of Cat Scratch on it, and I loved it. And I even remember a handful of episodes.
The thing is, for me, like, I have no memories of watching Cat Scratch, but I also saw these fucking character designs look so familiar to me.
Yeah, it just has that like early Nick Show vibe, I think. Just like the style and like the character design. But
yeah,
man, it's one of those. Richard Horvitz is like pretty prolific. Remember when he said pussy at the convention panel?
What?
There was that audio post. There's just Zim saying pussy.
That's awesome. That's fucking sick.
So as far as like voice actors are willing to go for like their fans,
yeah,
it's really funny. I want to be a voice actor someday, and I hope my voice just by default is good enough. Because I don't know, I can't hear my own voice without thinking it sounds dumb. But like, if I could do a voice like well enough, and if someone else said it was like good for a character, I'd be like, okay, I can at least do that like consistently. It would just be really weird hearing it in like a role.
Yeah.
Because like obviously you hear your own voice like differently than other people, because you know you hear your own voice like through your skull. Whereas you can you can only hear your own voice like as other people hear it when you like record it, like this podcast. For maximum my natural voice effect, put your speaker inside of your brain and let it come out of your ears. Just get like a microchip speaker. Would that even work? Would that even be worth trying to test?
I don't know, but the thing is that with these fucking crazy body modifications you can do, where you can get like a syringe with a fucking tiny ass RFID chip in it and just stick it in your hand.
Some people just have like ID chips in their hand, and I'm just like, that's scary. I've seen Kingsman. I've seen Kingsman.
The thing is, though, for me, 1, I'm scared of needles, and 2, I don't want to fucking get tracked.
Dude, that's an easy way to get your money stolen too. Like Apple Pay, because that shit is usually just like I don't know, but like someone could easily just like leave their phone on in like give me money mode, and then just walk by someone with an iPhone and like hope it works.
Yeah.
And that's fucking scary to me. That's why I refuse to turn on, because I think my phone has like Android Pay. But I hate that we live in the future where these convenient things are just being like abused for the worst. It's just like, oh, you can have everything concise and on like a thing, but then also the government can just take that whenever they want. It's like, all right, cool.
My new wallet has RFID blocking.
That's good.
On it.
That's really good.
Like, so my cards can't get jacked by
Is it
some
one of those
asshole
like
walking around.
safety boxes or whatever, or like one of those
No, it just said RFID blocking on the package, and they can't false advertise that shit.
It wasn't that like metal wallet thing. I forget what it's called, but you remember it was like that fold thing, and it had like the accordion slots where you put like all your cards in. Is it like that?
No, it looks like a regular wallet. I think it's meant to be unassuming.
That's good. Yeah, because that does kind of like that's basically asking like steal me.
If my cards get fucking jacked, and plus if my cards get jacked, I can sue for however much money I lost.
That's true. Yeah.
And plus also add a little bit more
for damages.
Yeah, for damages and emotional distress.
If it was because of your trip, you could have easily sued, or you could sue for like the cost of the trip too, and anything you buy. But yeah, it's usually just generally speaking in court, you usually get a lot more just for damages in general, because obviously having to go through something like getting your stuff stolen or being in a car wreck is like pretty fucked up. I did worse in my classes than I think I would have had I not gotten hit by a car.
Okay, I just learned something fucking crazy.
I got hit by a car?
No, besides that.
I know. I'm pretty sure you already knew.
Yeah, you already told me that. Like, almost when it happened, or
Yeah,
I saw it.
I remember.
So fucking Caramel Dancing, the one that we all know is a remix.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
I didn't know this.
It's like what is it? What's the word?
It's not Nightcore because it predates Nightcore.
Oh yeah, I learned how to snap, by the way. Did I mention that?
Oh, you did it! Everyone, give a snap applause.
Give a round of snaps. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was just like walking home from class with this girl, and she started snapping, and I was like ranting about how I couldn't snap while like trying to snap, and she was like, "You gotta use like your middle finger and like kind of like and I did it, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like 21 years. Yeah, 21 years. I have not been able to snap. Well, obviously less than 21, because like when I would have had to know what snapping was and like have the articulation to do it. Yeah. But like all these years I've been trying to snap and have been unable, and now just like out of nowhere I can snap. It's like, what the fuck? I feel like my hands are just like too soft. When I was a counselor at where we met, when I was a teen counselor, there was this other leader who like felt my hands, and he was like, you need to just like take some rocks and just like roll them around in your hands or something. And I was like, no thanks. I was like, I may slightly dislike my soft hands sometimes, but I'm gonna treasure them while I have them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotta keep them baby soft.
Gotta keep them grabbers soft. This is treading into bad territory. What do we even talk about anymore?
I don't know.
Do you want to end it? It's an hour and a half, and I
think this is a good stopping point.
I think so. Yeah, we talked about enough. There hasn't been enough like gaming stuff, but yeah, I think that's good. I had been kind of feeling like starting hour and a half long episodes, because I feel like those are just a lot more digestible. Like I don't know what it is about like seeing an hour and a half video and being like, I can watch that, and then seeing a 2-hour video and being like, oh. But yeah,
sorry.
That's okay. Was your dog barking?
No, Mom came home and she got me a cookie.
Nice. Freaking lucky boy. Did you eat it?
No, I just got it.
Are you gonna eat it?
I'm going to eat it.
Well, enjoy your freaking cookie after the podcast.
It's a big cookie too. It's a big boy. Dude, it's like the size of my face.
Dude, if your cookie is bigger than your face, you have cancer.
Oh shit.
I just like push your face like through the computer. How fucked up would that be?
That'd be fucked up, dude.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, I think that's good. I think an hour and a half is more than enough time for us to talk about stuff, because I feel like in the past we've kind of been like forcing ourselves to go for that long. But like if we happen to hit 2 hours in the future, I feel like we'll just roll with it. Yeah. Like if we're actually talking about that much. But let me know in the comments what you think if you're watching this far to the end. If you prefer the shorter episodes, or if you'd still like longer episodes in the future, let us know.
I feel like in the next few weeks after we both beat Sword and Shield, we're essentially that episode is going to just be us discussing our full thoughts on it.
That will be a good episode.
Yeah, that's going to be the Sword and Shield discussion episode, and it may slowly devolve into an argument. But you know what? Who gives a shit?
We're gonna have to prepare a lot for that if that's the case.
Yeah, because honestly, I feel like if there's an episode we record in between. Oh no, wait! It comes out on a Friday. We can. You know what we can do on that Wednesday before we record what we're hoping for,
like our last minute hopes.
Yeah, and then we write down, and then after we're done, we write down what we think about it, and we just discuss it for the whole episode.
It might take a while though, because I don't think either of us will beat it in a week.
No,
I've beaten Pokemon games in like week. Yeah, I've beaten some games. I don't want to rush through it too much, and I might be streaming it too. I feel like streaming Sword.
So at some point, I think we should save our thoughts on it until. We should just
until like the definitive episode.
Yeah.
We'll avoid talking about it in normal episodes, and then we'll just give our full thoughts on it at the end. Obviously, it'll be spoilers, but that's gonna be a good episode. I feel like that'll be like a landmark episode.
That's gonna be a good fucking episode.
Can you make a special thumbnail for that one?
I will.
Put the Sword and Shield logos in the thumbnail, and then replace the garnet with the Pokeball or something.
Yeah,
that'd be good. All right, well, thank you all for watching. Again, let us know in the comments how you feel about the length of the episodes or the subject matter, I guess. I don't know. But be sure to like if you enjoyed, and we will see you guys next week.
I'm going to eat this cookie.
Have fun, bro.